So here we go. It's time for another podcast. It's been a while. It's been COVID times, and with the weather, not many people have been making it, or at least I've not been making it. But it's the first time I've gotten a chance to make one of these videos, so I'm really happy to be doing this. So we have a full contingent, maybe about 13 riders, and everybody is ready to ram and thump and strut their stuff. Some of the big men are not here today, Matthew Michaels, etc. But we still are gonna have a good time, I think. Ian wearing the Union Jack, very proud, and we look and see what's going on here. Danny pulls off, no, not wanting no part of the front, and we've got Greg here. But Greg has admitted that he just wants to sit in for the day and not do anything special. But I see the lethargy back there. Everyone's waiting for somebody else to take the mantle up. So I've decided to go and drive hard here. I told Greg to grab my wheel, and we are now starting the party in earnest. Throwing out some pretty good wattage here, 300, 350, which is actually pretty good. And then we see Carrie, lackadaisically, oh, this is a walk in the park. I can do this. I'm the big man here after eyeing up the group and thinking that he is going to assert his dominance. So Carrie goes to the front, and I assume his wheel. Even staying on his wheel, we're talking 300 plus watts, and we're seeing into the 400s. And I see now that there's a sense of urgency in the group behind, but that is short-lived as no one really wants to take up the pace. We're getting a pretty good gap here, putting out some good wattage. I'm still sitting in, and I can see the group fading away. Now, if it were Matthew Michaels up front, it'd have been game over right here because there's not enough horsepower to bring him back. In fact, I'm not even certain I'd have been able to sit on his wheel as we see the group fading further and further and further apart. Uh, at the time, I was not aware of how big the gap was, and had I really known, this might have been some impetus to throw another log or two on the fire. Not that I had anything. So looking at my heart rate, 174, I'm pretty much pegged here, and I'm just sitting on Carrie's wheel. So I'm hoping I can recover here. Carrie's still looking really strong up there. 25-mile-an-hour limit. We are right on the speed limit here, which is not too bad considering. So it looks like we're almost a mile in, and the posse has not caught us yet. And I'm starting to think that maybe there's a chance here. Get a little descent, and I get a chance to recover 0 watts. Heart rate coming down 167. That's almost reasonable. Yeah, it's 165. So now I've recovered to the point where I might be able to help out if I hadn't have done squats the day before. Although there wasn't too much muscular soreness, so maybe that's just an excuse. So Kerry looking strong. He looks back. He sees the posse coming, and we don't know what we can do about it. We're gonna press on. I'm gonna try to give Kerry some help here, get my heart rate back up again, 168. And we see back there, there's still a decent gap. I mean, if we had one more person, or if Superman wasn't back there trying to help these people. So we're doing pretty good, but they are making ground on us. So I think it's Byron and Dean doing the lion's share of the work, and maybe Joel, but Joel has told me earlier on that he had a hard run the day before, so that's pretty much taken him out of contention. Perhaps they would have caught us sooner. I'm actually quite surprised to see that Greg is actually sitting in here after his statement about, ah, I'm not going to do much. I'm going to be sitting back. I wasn't certain, does he mean sitting back, sitting in, or not doing any work? But you really can't believe bike racers. They'll tell you anything, and they never do what they say they're going to do. And I've learned that. So we think the jig is up. Kerry makes one final push, and I push into the 400, 300. That maybe their will is broken. But we see that Byron is just too strong, even on the gravel bike, using the soon-to-be banned illegal puppy dog position, which brings down a lot of wattage for him, and it's Grupo Compacto. I can see Dean's back there a little bit. I think he was one of the ones that made part of the heroic push to get the group back, and it looks like he's got enough strength that he is going to be able to bridge. Byron's still looking strong, and look at those orange shoes. Look at that cadence. Look at those arms. Like, and it wasn't enough to catch us and recover. Now he goes to the front and drives on. My wattage is still good, and I'm in the 300s just trying to hang on. So I was thinking Kerry was gonna jump in, but, he waits for me to go through. At this point, I was thinking, gotta dig down a little deep, heart rate's at 170, but at this point, not that much of a problem. So it feels kinda good to sit in, but I've gotta get my heart rate down. 170 is not what I can hold all day, at least, these days in my ancient years. Like I said before, like when I was in my 20s, I could hold 184 for an entire race. But now those days have gone. Looking around, Carrie sitting in, Greg surprisingly there, and Dean has bridged up. That's indication of a massive engine there. Even though Dean was telling me earlier, "Oh, I'm working on core body work. I'm not gonna do that much on the bike, working on my push-ups and sit-ups and chin-ups and all that." But clearly he's got plenty of energy here. And so he goes out to come around, and I'm not really certain why. Like, he could have just sat in and recovered more, but he feels the need to come up to tell us that there was a hole that we already saw, and he's gonna drift back, not certain what's going on here. Perhaps it was just a show of strength, intervals, who knows? So anyway, so it looks like Byron's up front. We got Justin not quite covering the wheel. We got another First City guy, Danny. He sees the urgency that Justin is not going to be able to like follow suit. I don't know why Justin was off on the right there. It would have been better to get out behind Byron because disrupted air is easier to move. But so now we have to work. So I think Byron must be putting out like, I don't know, 400 watts out there. And it took a good dig to bring him back. But Danny's able to do it. I'm able to cover that move. And I'm certain that this must have done a lot of damage. And if it didn't do damage, then there's people that should have been up front doing some work. That being said, I'm definitely getting a good workout. So I can't really complain. Just need to get more people through. I mean, this high tempo is actually really good. It's some good over under work. It's just, you want to cover yourself a little bit because you don't want to get swarmed. Like I said before, like towing Justin to the line is just a mistake. So it looks like we have a gap here. Danny up front, we got Byron, we got Carey, four of the strong men. And life is good. And it looks like I think this is going to be the final selection. But Dean is just a beast back there. Yeah, I guess he's helping these other people out. Without Dean, these guys never would have caught us. And then Greg makes the final push after sitting in most of the way to bring the group back, and Dean is kind of orphaned back there. But I think he's going to make contact. Definitely good over under work by Dean. Maybe it's a good thing he didn't have any more sagging, was up front hurting us because if he and Byron had gotten a coordinated effort, this would have been extremely tough. Even, Carey's looking like he's suffering back there. Byron's back there working hard on the gravel bike. Yeah, that's right, gentlemen, the gravel bike. Byron comes through. Carey's up there pushing hard. I drop in behind Danny. My heart rate's in the low 170s, not horrible. And there's Justin, not the guy you want to tow to the line because he's got a wicked sprint, but I can look and see that he's gassed. So maybe we've taken enough snap out of his legs that he's not going to have much for the final. Greg still holding on there. Surprisingly, a man of honor or pride or just testing himself. But this is not what I expected. My heart rate's at 172, decent wattage, definitely the final selection. And Dean is not here, but I'm certain that, you know, Justin and Greg thank him for his sacrifice. So up front, Carey driving hard, Danny on his wheel, and now Danny's gonna make a final push here. So for me to cover this, 200, 270 watts, Danny's working good, but not that hard. So I figure it's now my turn to come to the front to show this is what we got. There's not much more here. I know the guys, maybe Justin has something to come around, but I am going to make them try to earn this because I can't make it easy. Byron's there, holding my wheel nicely. There's Greg holding on, and it looks like I'm putting out enough wattage, and the carnage was high enough from the wattage that they're not gonna have enough to be able to do anything. And here we go. Here we go. Byron's going for it. Byron's going for it. I think at this point I still have maybe a slight lead here, but no. Selection has been made, and I'm sitting in, and indeed this is the final selection. Heart rate 178. Oh man, I am totally on the rivet here. 350, 360 watts. Yeah, clearly this is enough to like cause a further selection, but these guys are just too good. And now I go. I go for the final push. Byron hangs on, and look at that 300 watts, heart rate 179. Yeah, yeah, and this is after a day of squats. Um, oh, and it looks like I took it. Congratulations there from Byron. Um, Glad that Justin, last week's winner, wasn't able to come and best me on that one. So I was pleased by my efforts. I can see that now I'm going to be ready for the Dead Man Gravel, which is a gravel race that I'm training for. My brother will be coming out, and I do not wish to be embarrassed like I was last time when he came out for Laramie Enduro, where he totally crushed me because he trained and I did not. Um, Not looking for a podium in that one, just looking to hold up the family honor. Anyway, enough digression there. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody, for coming out and playing. And we shall see everybody again next week. Party on, gentlemen.